Yo, welcome back. Real sports talk in the building, man.
In the building. In
the building. You know what I mean? Chilling with Jay, of course. My man Ra. Let's get it. Salute to y'all guys. You know we started off. We always start off with a little shot. You know what I mean?
Y'all
little
niggas still
toast.
drinking shit out. Yo, time out.
Hell yeah.
My man,
Hell yeah.
my man Q, aka Envy. You know, in our last show, you was like, what the. I was like, yo, he's in there. He's in there. He's in the office. We in the office again? Oh, he still got the dump it.
I'm not in the office right now.
Can you do me a favor?
I'm not in the office right now.
Before we pour the shot, yo, can you do the audience a favor, my boy? Can you show them this Dove glass? Like, I gotta order that. Show me the glass.
Yo, it's a
show the whole glass. Yo, Pre, I need you to get on that. We need to order these.
Cheers.
Everybody has to have that. We need that. I'm gonna order that shit so I can make sure when I do my brews, we doing it. What's up? What we doing?
Let's go.
Good to be back.
This shot is because we all back together. Energy is good. Vacation is over. You know, NFL season is about to be here, so we're gonna start it off. We're gonna talk. We talked about the Giants last week, so shout out to the Jets. You know, we got Jay in the building. You know, the green goblin over here. So you know what I mean, Gang Green over here. He gonna I want to see what he really wants to say because I've been hearing a lot of like, you know what I mean, on the wall seesaw shit about the Jets. But you know, I always rep New York. So shout out to New York. Shout out to the Jets.
York.
Have a good episode.
Let's do it. We're going to have a good one.
Word. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, make sure you comment. Tonight, we're not live right now, but we will make sure that happens the next episode. Check the description. We do have our Real Sports Talk merch available. You know, we have definitely some dope-ass designs. Go check it out. Mad sizes, from like 5X to small.
Mad size is crazy. Cue him up.
Somebody
That's not yo.
Whoa, go.
I was talking about flow.
Yo, come on.
Pause.
Everything was going smooth.
Everything was going smooth until everything was going smooth, Q.
Oh my God!
How you gonna set it off like that, my boy?
That's a wild way to start the episode, doggy.
Yeah, you guys. But anyway, so y'all know what it is, man. We're gonna talk about the Jets. You know, we know what that division looks like. You know, with the Bills that always seem to have that division unlocked. We got the Patriots that are making a couple moves and probably, gonna try to make a little run for it in the upcoming years. I still don't have too much faith in them. And then we got the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. You know, like, and Jay, obviously, I gotta go to you first, man, because you're the Jets guy on this team. Everybody else is Giants fans. Yo, do you feel like they can really make some type of significant run this year, even with all the type of, because I've been hearing some crazy controversy, like Justin Fields is having bad, training. He hurt his toe, and then the defense looks off sync. I'm seeing all type of things, but there are some good things that came out of it. You guys did re-sign Gardner and Sauce, and the defense is, I still think, one of the best defenses in the league. They have a lot of things, going for this team. Do you really think they can do something? Finally.
I see a lot. Culture is a big deal in franchises. When it comes to football, especially. Rod, you played the game for, for a substantial amount of time. You know what I'm saying? That's substantial, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's substantial. But you and all of us just haven't watched the game of football for such an extended period of time in our lives. We know that a locker room can either create a team or crush it. Unfortunately, I feel like the culture of the Jets was lost a little bit, and it wasn't solely because of Aaron Rodgers. I know a lot of people were very upset with Aaron Rodgers, and they felt like he was the locker room crusher. I don't think he crushed the locker room. I think that there was just so much surrounding him that nobody kind of knew where they fit in or how to really move. And that trickles down onto the field. it shows on the field. I like the Glenn signing. I think that he brings a toughness and a certain level of care to the team because he's a Jet, like at heart. I think that he brings a lot. And now you take somebody like Justin Fields, who didn't have success in Chicago. He had marginal success in Pittsburgh, and now he's here in New York and gets a brand new start. He gets to play with somebody that he's very familiar with Wilson, with Garrett Wilson. And I think that you're going to see a really good side of him. Now, yes, there have been some questionable practices, and yeah, he did have the dislocated toe, but he was back the next day. So so it is what it is. They were able to to exercise the options on Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. So you got both of them locked up for for the foreseeable future, which was necessary. We got Alan Lazard to take a little bit of a hit on the chin, and he gave back approximately $8 million back to the franchise. So now we're getting him.
Yeah, yo. I'm about to say. I was about to say.
What I say wrong?
Yo, Cash. Yo,
Oh, he got a hit on the chin.
I know Cash. I know Cash is here. He took a hit on the chin. Oh man.
He did, yo. That was wild. Like, why you hitting people on the chin, bro?
Yo.
All right, he took a haircut. He took a haircut.
Okay.
He took a haircut, right? So now we have him under the roof for about 2.5 or 2.25, whatever that number is. But overall, I don't listen. I'm reasonable. I don't see them being as good as what I think the Giants are going to be this year. I just don't see it. I don't think that they have enough on the offensive side of the football as far as continuity, and I don't think they have enough experience. I don't really know what Justin Fields is going to be. I hope he's going to be good, and I think that he has enough weapons around him to be good with the backfield, with the running backs that he has to be able to really make some fucking noise. But I don't know. I don't see them doing what the Giants I think are going to do. I see that team realistically 8-9 football team. Maybe. Yeah, I don't see them much more than that. I don't see them. I mean, think about this, Rob.
An improvement from last year.
It will be it's a dramatic improvement from last year. But think about this, Rob. They're not gonna beat out the Bills. We know what the Bills are gonna be, right?
They're not gonna beat out. Well, no. Go ahead. I'm listening.
They're not gonna beat out the Bills. I'll be honest with you. I think that Drake May is going to do a lot more than everyone thinks. He's going to take another step up, and then you got Vrabel at the helm. We know what Vrabel does when he takes over a franchise. He did very well in Tennessee. So, and then the Dolphins, you don't really know what they're going to be, but I mean, they have decent quarterback play when the kid isn't available. They got great wide receivers with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. They have a good running back in, I forget the kid's name, but you actually had him on your fantasy team. He did very well for you. The running back from Miami.
Wait, but we can't say that out loud.
Oh,
we got a job coming up. So please.
It is what it is, bro. They're gonna hear it. They're gonna hear it, right?
No, they're not gonna hear it. Okay.
With that being said, I don't see that the Jets are going to be much more. I don't think they'll come in fourth in their own division. I don't see that they're going to make a significant leap over any. Like the only team that I think they have a shot at being a little bit more better than would be the Patriots, and I don't even really see that. I think that Drake May, just based on last season and coming into this season with a new system and a real fucking coach, I think you're going to see that team will be a lot better than it's been.
I agree with you.
You agree with the record? You think they're still going to be
8 and 9,
8 and 9 team?
I'm thinking the Jets realistically.
Your perspective is going to be from a Giants perspective, right? So you probably don't even give a shit.
No, y'all niggas don't forget nothing. Y'all niggas is like elephants. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all like elephants. Y'all like that nigga Rod's. I guess I'm the ambidextrous nigga. Like that nigga Rod don't care. He has no true allegiance to nobody or whatever the case may be. But that's not the case. I'm a New Yorker, which means again, I'm a fandom of watching New York teams do New York shit. We have an AFC team. We have an NFC team. We can talk about the Giants in a second. In a perspective to what Jay just said about the Jets, I can't not agree. I mean, defensively, they ponied up. pause, and offensively, they've ponied up. Like they are. Again, I don't put it all on Aaron Rodgers last year. The fanfare, and because of who Aaron Rodgers is, and as you know, I don't necessarily hate Aaron. Aaron came through. He got injured initially the first week, so we never got to see what he could be here. But because of New York media, right, what he couldn't be here in the time that he can't do it.
We are New York,
right? We are New York, and guess what? Everything he says is not pro NY. We're gonna hold his ass. Our team isn't doing good because of what he just said or this, that, and the third. He's gone. He's gone now. So he's gone. I don't hold what he couldn't do against what the Jets were supposed to do with him. He just was never on the field to be able to do it. You know, God bless him. I hope he's, I don't hope for all NFL purposes. I hope he doesn't go nowhere else. It'd be great. But I do agree with Jay. I'm gonna give it a buck. I think the Jets have both ponied up on both sides of the offense and the defense, and that's just clear. Coaching as well. I do think that they can do an 8-8 season. Or what you say,
8-7, 8-9 rather. Pardon me.
8-9, and I would prefer it to be 9-8, but it's still this AFC. This is still the AFC, which means there's still Baltimore. There's still the Bills. There's still Miami. There's still Cincinnati. There's still teams that the Jets have to prove.
Pittsburgh.
That's what Aaron. That's what AE went with.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Again, there are still teams that the Jets are going to have to get a good head start on to even be a problem on. You know what I'm saying? And again,
their secondary is going to be suspect, right? Like that's where I'm really scared, right? Their secondary is going to be suspect. Other than Sauce Gardner.
I argue not. I came here to debate tonight. I did. I came here to argue with niggas. That's where. But clearly, Jay's done more homework than I've done. Where it's like, I can't argue.
Yeah, you got the kid. Signed that kid, Brandon Stevens. I think. That'll be an upgrade. We picked him up. That should be a significant upgrade. And we got rid of the other kid. I forget his name. DJ Reed. We got rid of DJ Reed. DJ Reed. You know what I'm saying? DJ Reed. So I mean, I think you'll.
And I kind of like DJ. I kind of like DJ.
Yeah, kind of. But he was getting burnt. He was getting cooked though, dog. You know. But so was Sauce. Sauce was getting cooked last year too to keep it.
Sauce ain't getting cooked this year. Like, let's be clear.
But why? So why do you say that? What's the big? Because they really didn't make no real crazy moves.
They spent a lot of time on the field though last year. I'm
gonna tell you why Sauce ain't getting cooked this year. Contract year.
He just got a contract.
No, they just did it. They just exercised.
They gave him back already.
They exercised him and Garrett Wilson. Both of them. They locked up.
I wasn't worried about Garrett though. I wasn't worried about Garrett. Garrett gonna do what Garrett.
And to be honest, I thought Garrett was gonna get it. But yeah, you go, Rob.
But Sauce is gonna have to validate the bag. And if he don't, then his next contract, if Sauce comes in and plays like a bum this year, which I don't think he's gonna do, I think Sauce is gonna play to like what he was asking for. Like, I need this, I'm this, that, and the third. I think that we'll see more out of the defense, like Jay said earlier. I know Jay's saying it's suspect, but I think we're going to see more out of the defense than we're going to see out of offense. Offense is something that we got to figure out. The offense is going to be.
You got to wait to keep the defense off the field.
It's going to it's going to be Justin Fields, right? Garrett Wilson. We have to find that connection. We're going to find out. We're going to have to find out if Brees is still Brees. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of shit that we're going to have to see how this is going to work offensively. The defense is just pay us so we can still do what we're doing. So the defense is going to be the defense. That's the way I look at it. And I get that the defense was suspect last year, but I think that defense was just – I honestly think the defense just didn't have a great offense to play around. Like, we got to defend the shit the fact that these motherfuckers can't put points on the board, personally. Mm-hmm. But – and that's – again, I'm not trying to make it a Jets or Giants thing, but that's Jets football, bro.
Potentially the same thing may or may not happen again, right? Like, I was a little bit surprised that they signed Sauce, right? Because he did have an atrocious year, but they wanted
atrocious though. Was it
It
atrocious?
was. It was.
In standards, yeah.
It's not yo. It's not like
very
yo.
bad.
Come
Yo,
on.
to
It's not,
yo,
it's not like,
from being basically the best to
let me ask you a
one of
question.
the worst.
Come on.
They
Come
were
on.
They got so bad they were targeting
They were
him.
I was
targeting
about to
him.
ask y'all that. Were they targeting him? But they were
Yeah.
targeting him. Did you see how they how were they targeting him? They were putting tight. They were putting the Jets weren't playing. They were either playing zone or whatever, which means they're throwing the football into an area where they're gonna say, "Yo, let's put a fucking tight end in coverage, a wide receiver, and a slot in the same area where we're gonna throw it to Sauce, and Sauce has to figure out who the primary is." I think that they would just. I think that teams were better. I think the Jets didn't play good defense.
Bro,
And
there
it
were
falls
moments
on-
where he was 1-on-1 and getting roasted. That's truth to the matter.
Name two.
There was moments.
Give me two where moments you
Bro,
like, oh,
you know
Sauce
how far-
absolutely got burned.
Son, you can go to the tape, bro.
I
There
think
was moments
I think that they
when
schemed.
Sauce absolutely was getting cooked.
I believe
And that's my
that.
guy. I'm being honest. Like that's my
He
guy.
didn't have a great year, but I'll tell you.
I believe that they schemed to his side of the field, and it looked like because that's his responsibility that it fell on Sauce, and Sauce played like trash in that. But I don't think Sauce plays like. I don't think Sauce was trash. There weren't a lot of. There weren't. It wasn't like there were to me. And you got mind you, I've watched those Jets games too. There weren't a lot of moments where I felt like, yo, damn, that nigga Sauce got cooked again. Nigga just threw up 100 yards on Sauce. This nigga scored 4 hours on Sauce.
But that was because the team was. That's because the line was averaging 160 yards per game. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I don't have to target you 12 times only if I need to throw the ball into the air and need to score a touchdown immediately. If I could just keep running and run and waste more time and run, you know what I mean? And this is what this is my point to what the Jets is my only worry, and I think this actually is a positive because I kind of expected for what happened last year to happen when they fired Sal, right? He was that defense guy, right? And Jay said it the best. They lost their identity right after he got fired. They weren't playing the defense that they were usually known to play, and this year they're coming into the same league with basically the same team, just a different quarterback. To be honest, man, like they didn't really they make no astronomical moves and say, hey, we got a whole new line or whole new receiving core. It's like a lot of it is pretty much the same players that been here for the past 2-3 years that are some of the great talent that we have seen.
Now you're adding a culture, Q. You're adding a culture.
And the culture, and
culture.
I think still Wilkes and Aaron Glenn have been, stability. Now they have these guys. Like this team needs that, especially when you're dealing with young professional athletes. Like the Jets team is fairly young. They need some type of guidance. You're not gonna have that. Look, and you could kind of almost compare them. You can kind of compare.
I think we got the right coach. And please. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you said something about athleticism and the culture and the offense. But I kind of feel like, forget his first 2 stints, does not Justin Fields change the way the offensive package works for the Jets? Because you now have a quarterback that he's got an arm. He may not be the most accurate guy, but he's not inaccurate. He's not a bum getting the ball to where it goes out. He's not a deep ball guy, but he's definitely 10, 15 yards, slants and all that. Justin Fields can make those plays, and he can make the plays with his feet, which means if the offensive line does their job, you now have a second running back in how he runs. He's a strong QB runner. So when you say the offense doesn't when you say the offense is not super revamped, I'm like, is it not? Because Garrett's still gonna be Garrett. You know what I'm saying? The Jets do have a decent wide receiver core in general. You know what I'm saying? And there's still Breeze.
Yeah, but can you say that's revamped? We've had that same core even with the guy that everybody that was a Jets fan praised. You know what I mean? Like, but this is what I'm saying. Like we're gonna have to see what Justin Fields does. Like, right? Is he gonna be, the same Justin Fields in his second and third year in on the Bears? When he was playing, he had good years with Allen Robinson and DJ Moore. Let's keep it a buck. And they had no run game.
He didn't have good years. It looked decent.
He had decent years.
Those seasons sucked. Chicago, he sucked.
But like, and Allen Robinson, he's been what? He's a certified like third person, like a third stringer.
No,
and DJ Moore just got traded to that team. And he still was able to give that team an 8-8 in the Bears. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot to say, and that was kind of. But can he bring that to this team as well?
That's what I was just about to ask you. So to Jay's point, where he sees a 9-8 team or whatever, and I see 8-9 or what have you, right? In my head, if for whatever reason they get to 9-8, not for nothing, if it even looks like it's going 9-8, that means that the Justin Fields change, because again, he's basically inherited what Aaron Rodgers is left. And mind you, we all think that Aaron Rodgers we know Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Justin Fields, right? But based off this offense, based off what they have in the backfield, based off their receiver core and stuff like that, offensively, can Justin Fields be a better implant than what Aaron Rodgers can do? Meaning, like, we're not looking for Justin Fields to have a 4,000-yard throwing season, are we?
We absolutely are. That's the problem.
No. Absolutely.
Wait, he said 3,000. He said 3,000.
He said 4,000.
4,000. That's like, why not? Any professional quarterback in the league, if you get drafted, that should be your when you have a good team, a decent team.
I'm saying from him, and based off of the team that he's come from and what we know his talent point to be, right? We know he can run. We know he can throw. We know he has decent accuracy, right? We know what the Jets have, and we know what the deficiencies are on the offense. So we're just addressing the offense right now. I'm just saying, if I'm the coach, right, I'm like, I got to use Justin Fields' legs. I got to use where we can throw the ball. I got to use the athleticism on the wide receivers I have, and I got to make sure that we have a good run game. Again,
I think you're forgetting about your second running back.
Rob, listen to me. Stop. Okay. That's the game plan for every football team in the entire NFL. No. It was like a super generic. Like, what are we talking about? That's the same shit for every team. All 32 teams. You got to be able to throw the football. You got to be able to run.
No.
Shit.
You got to protect the football.
I'm saying
I'm not touchdowns.
I'm saying I'm not looking for a 4,500, 5,000-yard throwing from Justin Fields. I'm probably looking at Justin Fields saying he's going to have to add to this running game.
No, you
Justin Fields is going to have to add to the running game. We do have a third running back. We do have a third running back. So okay,
that should only be off schedule. The only time I don't think you need to design runs for him and turn him into that. I think that's where we fucked him up. I think the whole problem in Chicago
he ain't never been on our team.
I'm talking about Chicago. In Chicago, I think that was
Chicago just sucked.
Chicago fucked them up because they didn't have a coach, and the whole problem was they didn't have a good running game, and they tried to make him exactly what you just said, a third running back.
So what about Pittsburgh? What about
Pittsburgh? What did he go 2 for 2, and then they snatched his ass up out of there and put back in Russell. Wilson.
No, he didn't go 2 for 2. He
went 2 for 2.
He only played 4 games.
4 games.
And
went 2 for 2.
They probably should have let that boy in there.
Well, that's what we thought so too. But then they had Russell Wilson there. Yeah, Russell Wilson started
Russell Wilson went in there and cooked. What's the problem?
You mean the New York Football Giants, Russell Wilson? That he's going to take us to the Messiah. He's going to take us to the land of milk.
Bro, I don't know.
We're not talking the Giants.
Russell Wilson was an upgrade.
I know Q didn't like that.
Russell Wilson was an upgrade from Justin Fields last year. That's reality.
I just felt like it was the same. No, outside of the Moon Bowl, which he threw hella interceptions for, he still got broken up. Like, Russell Wilson didn't.
He made them a better football team, bro. He made them an absolute better football team. Justin Fields could not push the football down the field, and Pickens and him were not on the same page. George Pickens and him were not on the same page. He couldn't push the football down the field. He couldn't find his tight ends, which should have been realistically a tight end should be a unsure quarterback's best friend. He couldn't find the fucking tight ends in Fryer.
What's his name? Fryer,
right? he just overall he didn't look strong. He didn't, and the defensive team understood it. Whoever they were playing against, the defense understood it, and they were sending a lot of fucking heat, which was killing their fucking running back, who's no longer with them. Right? So if you think about it from that lens, now you don't want that guy to fucking be all skittish and all over the place and not being able to make good decisions and hold the football for entirely too long like he did in Chicago. You want him to release that shit. 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, get it out of your hands. If you don't see something, you absolutely have to go off schedule, then you do that. But you don't take unnecessary hits. You get rid of the football, you protect the football, and you find the people, you do your checkdowns very quickly. 1, no, 2, no, 1, no, 2, no, 3, yes, boom. 1, yes, it's got to be out of your hands immediate. And that was his problem. He did not figure out when to fucking let the football go. And he held it too long. And then he'd have to take off and depend on his legs. His legs were a detriment and a blessing at the exact same time. Because he depended so much on them.
I agree.
And there's no need for him right now in his point in time in his career
run. He's got Breece Hall and Braylon Allen behind him.
You chilling.
Absolute killers behind you.
All you need to do is, at worst case, and at best case scenario, all you need to do is extend the play by running outside the pocket. He just needs to be coming to Aaron Rodgers and extend the pocket, leave the pocket if need be, and then see what additional time you need to read your options, and then call it a day. And I think he has, the staff to do it. I think he can do it right now. I think this is going to be his time to actually prove himself. So I think he can become like a Kirk Cousins right now. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy. I think he could be that type of guy. Early Kirk, not Kirk right now, but I think he could be that type of Kirk right now. But Kirk throws the ball down.
Washington Redskin Kirk.
Yeah, I think he could get a team over that hump and say, hey, look, we had the weapons. Now we finally got we got the guy here to try to utilize it. And then he just needs a little bit more coaching. And
I have one question, though. I do have a question. I do have one question. As Q drinks his duck. How is Q drinking a duck right there, but he's also over the left-hand shoulder of you drinking beer as well, Jay?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. He's everywhere.
I'm
everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I was like, yo, is this shit in real time? But that's another show. And the nigga just took a shot of beer, and I'm like, well, that's not the real Q. That's like the multiverse Q.
In a
multiverse. But go ahead, yo. I agree with y'all takes. No doubt.
Let's change the topic real quick. And I kind of wanted to speak about this now before Q turns into Dark Q. The one that you saw a couple episodes back. You know what I mean? I apologize to everybody. I hope y'all have fun with me when y'all.
We love Dark Q. Dark Q is in the picture. He's in the danger zone behind Bream. He's in the what's it called? The Phantom Zone.
Yeah, Dark Q right there. Yeah, that's the alternate universe Q.
Yeah, look at him. The nigga's right there. Man. He wants to talk right now. He's mad. Look, he's drinking right now. He's having a drink right now.
Oh man,
that man is drinking. He's like, yo, I don't agree with it. He don't.
We drinking it. Yo, I'm drinking with myself right now. Yo, like
Phantom Zone Q. Do you agree with other Q? Phantom Zone Q. Look at him. Look what's he gonna say? Look. Niggas mad at me. Look. He don't like it.
Yo,
he don't like it. He go.
Yo. That's
hey, he's mad at me. Yo, I know. Phantom Zone Q don't agree with what regular Q is saying. Well, go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh man.
That's what he said. Look, he's drinking again. He's drinking again. And he had a shot.
Man.
Phantom Zone just had a shot. Dog.
We're gonna switch up. We're gonna switch up speeds real quick. We want to talk about something else. We're gonna jump back into the the football mode. But
let's go.
I don't know if I'm pretty sure you guys saw it. I don't know if the fans heard about it or saw about it, read it, heard her comment how Michelle Obama, and I wish we had the clip to play, so that's apologies on my part, but Michelle Obama compared ESPN to Desperate Housewives.
Oh, man.
Right? So, to be honest, is there much for me to even dive in and explain about this topic? Ra, Jay went last. What you got? You talking about Phantom Q, and don't look at Phantom Q for some help on this topic.
I can't. Right? First of all, don't you ever disrespect Phantom Q ever, because that's my friend. You put your hand down because he's gonna be drinking when you put your hand down. I'm pretty sure. Like, put your hand down. Let me see. But nah. In regards to this, I think this is just this is fodder. This is like media fodder. If we look at what
Well, do you think there's any type of semblance of truth? Yo, do you think
hold on.
yo, do you think there's any type of symbolism of truth to her statement?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think there's some symbolism of truth from where she was talking about. I mean, like it's all entertainment, right? Like, mind you, Stephen A. Smith. You know, sometimes Stephen A. as a black man, now mind you, as a black man and as somebody who's quote unquote is supposed to be about the culture like the Shannon Sharps, but as big as his name is, right? And Stephen A. Smith by no means is a Barack Obama ever. Stephen A. Smith is also by no means um he literally is a very big sports analyst. He's not Martin Luther King, he's not Malcolm X, he's none of these things, but he likes to I'm not gonna say he likes to speak, but by way, like let's just say this gets to him and he decides he wants to say who the fuck is this guy. His normal response to everything is I've been doing journalism for X amount of years and then I was doing this, that, and the third, and I'm a Pulitzer, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I get it. You know, you've risen to your stardom in a certain on a thing, but you are not Stephen A. Smith is not me and Jay have had this conversation on the RB and Jay's show a few times. He's not the representative of the black voice. But he often, because of his platform, likes to take that role, right? And although we have black people, white different, Spanish or indifferent that say, okay, well, Barack was good or bad or whatever, that presidency, post Joe Biden, was one of the best presidencies that we've had in our lifetime. If you're allowed to see it, if you're old enough to understand what presidencies do for the country, this is a respected family. They did what they had to do. They did what they could do based off of policies, so forth and so on. On the back end, Barack gonna make his money making his books. Michelle gonna make her money doing her podcast. They're gonna still be the Obama family. They're still who they are, and they, honestly, not for nothing, whether they want it to be or not, because Barack hasn't even come out and says, "I'm the voice of the black people." He just says, "Hey, I was the president. I did X, Y, and Z." Stephen A. Smith, because he's a part of the culture, sometimes needs to know how to dial it back. And Michelle Obama, the first black first lady that our country, maybe the only black first lady we'll ever see in our lifetime, right? Says, hey, I compare ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, I compare ESPN and shows like that to um, the Housewives show because, and she went to lay out in her podcast, because everybody's yelling at each other, nobody likes each other, so forth and so on. The pundit who's asking the question saying, hey, so do you think Stephen A. Smith is a good housewife? And she goes, I think he absolutely could be one of those. I agree, but she didn't call him a housewife, right? But, the media's going to grab this. That's what the media did. And of course, it's going to make Stephen A. Smith have to speak out about it. Now, what does he do? He goes, I respect Michelle Obama, which is, I guess, what he's supposed to do. He kind of like defended that he loves who she is and he loves the family. But then he turns it into a bashing on, what Barack couldn't do and I was supposed to vote for Kamala because of this. He turned it into a political thing. And I'm like, this shit just got kind of corny. This is one of those things where we speak on it and I just think as a culture, the black and brown community, and we are all the black and brown community, we have to know when our attention is being swayed, to talk about something that's really not important. I'd rather talk about Shador Sanders, to be honest with you, something that's really happening in sports, right? But we got to talk about Stephen A. Smith responding to Michelle Obama about something that she didn't even say. She didn't say he's a housewife. We could go back and look at it. She didn't call him housewife. She just compared the entertainment version of it to what ESPN has done with their platforms and these shows. And Stephen A. Smith, because he not only is a part of First Take, he also has his own personal shit where he can go now to his own platform and he could talk on behalf of himself. He played into it, and that's where I ain't gonna front. Like I'd be disappointed in Stephen A. sometimes because his mouth be louder than his intention sometimes. I think he's important. I think he's every bit of what he say what he's done as far as the culture and his voice did in that third, but sometimes he just talks against certain shit where he just shut up. I wouldn't even address it. Like if I was Stephen A, I'm like, yeah, I saw that. I'm ignoring that. Let's talk about something else. That would have made him doper to me in this moment. But he's got too much of an ego for that. Stephen A. Smith is, that's where people attack Stephen A. Smith. That's where the Steven Jacksons. That's where the culture they buck against him, and he wonders why everybody buck the LeBrons and all that shit. Not saying that everybody has to agree with him, but we buck at him because he thinks he's louder. He thinks he's the authoritative. He's the authoritative voice in the culture right now. And I'm like, no, you're just the biggest voice in the culture right now. And you're not even the biggest voice where it matters. You got the biggest bag because you work for the establishment, so to speak. You work for them people. And them people gonna give you that bag, and you either about to defend them people, but you can't talk for yours. And he has to walk that fine line. And I'll leave it at that.
Yo, so Jay, man, do you think? So then, do you think Stephen A. responded because he needed to respond, or do you think there was actually some type of, dramatic feel? Because if she's watching ESPN, do you think she was even, because we, us as sports guys, right? Like we can't say women don't like sports. We could go off top and like we ain't chauvinist here. We love women. We love women who watch sports. We love women who watch sports with men who love to watch sports.
We love women in sports.
We love women in sports, man. Like word. Like and the fact that you combine two of the things that men love, you know what I mean? Like that makes a woman even better. So, do you really think that ESPN has become some type of soap opera channel?
There's a lot that goes along with making a hit sports show, and there has to be that there has to be that back and forth, that that intrigue that keeps people watching. That no one wants to see a show that's completely symmetrical. There has to be ups and downs. There have to be peaks and valleys. There have to be villains and heroes. There has to be all of those things. That's what keep the American people intrigued. So they do a great job of.
It's intriguing.
Right. Yeah, they do a great job of figuring that part of it out. On some days, most days, you'll see Stephen A. almost as the villain, and then other days, there are times when he comes with a take that absolutely is groundbreaking, and you'll say he got busy. You'll say, all right, that made sense. With that being said, I don't think that she really meant as much harm as maybe Stephen A. tried to take it as, and I think that he at some point he's got to get over himself. I think he's a little it isn't, he's a pimple on the ass of life, just like everybody else. I understand he's got a big platform, but he's got to get over himself a little bit, especially when it comes to the Obamas, who have really done significant things for this country. Stephen A. has entertained, but I don't think he can sit here and act as if he belongs in the same conversation with a Barack Obama or Michelle Obama. And even deeper than that, I didn't like his clapback. He was on one of those political shows. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's a Republican, and it was on Fox. And I was watching a lot of it yesterday or the day before, whatever it was.
Yeah, and Barack, right?
And his clapback was terrible. Like he went after Barack, saying that Barack tried to use misogyny to get
him to
get people to vote for Kamala. And I feel like that to me was soft. It was a very soft response to something that clearly ruffled his feathers regarding a statement like housewives. And like, that's like some real trivial shit. She didn't attack his person. She didn't attack his platform as far as what he stood for or anything like that. So for him to go back at Barack and actually attack Barack's thought process or the way he felt about having Black people step up and vote for Kamala in that time was really soft to me, because I've seen Republicans create straight up and down commercials that are telling people to do X, Y, or Z. And then it says, I endorse this. I am Donald J. Trump and I endorse this message, or whoever, right? So however Barack wanted to get his point across to get people to get up and put some energy behind Kamala Harris. It's fine. That's his complete. What do you call it?
His job.
But for Stephen A. Smith to say that he was using misogyny, saying you don't like black women if you don't vote for Kamala, that
was his prerogative. You think?
The term made me mad that he called it misogyny. Like
I saw what you saying.
It sucked that he had the audacity because he's talking out of both sides of his face, right? On one side of his face, he's saying, Michelle Obama, Barack, they're the best. I respect them to the moon and blah 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 and all the things. However, I like to say, I think that it was, misogynistic for him to, when Kamala was running for office, for him to say, you don't like black women if you don't vote. What the fuck is he supposed to say? He can say whatever he wants. And listen, everybody has their hot button. And it's Barack Obama's decision or his intelligent decision to say, I'm going to push a hot button here. I'm going to say, yo, listen, guys, step up and vote for this black woman. I think that she can do a fantastic job. Matter of fact, if you don't vote for her, you just don't like black women. But however he framed it, I'm not uncomfortable with it because people frame their thought process and what their intention is to people all the time. Fuck, you framing shit if you watch a fucking beer commercial, right? Like anything you see is you're framing it to get a person to buy on your interest. And that's all he did. And there's nothing wrong with that. And for Stephen A. to use politics and dig into she didn't what she said had nothing to do with politics. It was solely to do with the show and her take on it and how she viewed the two shows and and the dichotomy between the two shows, Housewives versus ESPN's First Take. And for him to dig that deep back to go into politics and how he felt that Barack handled the Kamala Harris campaign was just corny. It was soft.
And just to piggyback on what Jay is saying right now, and mind you, I often like to go against what Jay is saying, but even in this particular case, and I definitely want to hear yours take on the Q2 as well. Like, the Republicans have been selling what their view is, and they've sold it however they had to sell it. Make America great again. What was America been? You know what I'm saying? China gave us COVID. All types of shit has been thrown out there. So I gotta be back. Jay. Man, Jay. Shit. Good one, guy. Yeah. You. Good shit. Good shit on that one. I like the debate, but go ahead.
And to be honest, both of y'all, ideas and thoughts on it is totally separate from what I how I really took it and understood it. You know what I mean? And I don't think because when she said ESPN, I took it as a channel. Granted, we all know Stephen A. Smith is quote unquote the face of ESPN. But he's not the only one. What I mean, who is on there, and we've known, and that's why I do feel like there is some type of truth to it, but I don't think they could be. I don't think they could be. I don't think they could be compared to at all. I think there's no comparison.
When you say truth to it, what do you mean? When you say you think there's truth to it, in what regard? Out of curiosity.
And I'm saying because specifically what she said was the drama factor. Right. And that's what you think of Housewives. Right. We're not saying that Pat McAfee and all the guests and, Aaron Rodgers and, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith. We're not calling these guys Housewives. She was just saying the show Housewives.
She's comparing the drama. That's it.
There's drama. It's just two different things. There's a bunch of women who live in a very, very wealthy area, who live very, very wealthy lives, right? That just go upon their day-to-day that probably to 85% to 90% of the rest of the country doesn't really deal with. You know what I mean? Let's keep it a buck. You could
have laughed that whole shit off and just moved on. Realistically.
Yeah, he could have just been said what, but then when I take from the truth of it, and this is something that they should have spoke to as a team on ESPN, because then for people or fans of the channel who are sports fans to realize that this has become a mockery of a channel, right? Because that's what people are saying. Like, yo, what am I watching? It's like watching like general lives of a bunch of players. Like, you guys remember that show? What was it called? Game Plan or whatever, the gamers or man, I remember. It was about all the football players, and this used to be crazy. It was back on BET and then like the like mid 2000s, and you know, it's just a bunch of about like NFL players, but they used to always have like some issues with their girlfriend, and it was always going crazy.
Talking about ballers.
No, it's not Bowlers. No, it was a different show. That's with The Rock. It was a different show.
Rock. That was a fire ass show.
Yeah,
that was fire.
But let's keep it a buck,
like a
because
drama too, right?
Yeah. But let's talk about it. Like, yo, sports is kind of crazy. You're dealing with all these guys who have so much ego and determination, and you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have any of that. Yo, they had to deal with people who had to deal with those type of people. It was probably some of those people that were on Housewives that helped some of these poor soon to be professional players be those professional players later in life. You know what I mean? Because it's her husband's donation to the college that's probably helping that tuition get pushed through to help some poor little, you know what I mean? Some poor kid who's fucking 6'5", 280 pounds, but can bench press 300. And they're like, yo, this guy, all we got to do is just teach him how to be smart to get to school, get to college, and help this team get better. You know, but we've seen, and besides that factor, we've seen all the drama that's gone on in ESPN. Yo, the Joy Taylor bullshit, the Shannon Sharp firing, all the other firings that's gone on. You know what I mean? It's like all these crazy rumors. It just seems like, yo, I feel like if I worked at ESPN, it would be just like going to high school all over again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna have to worry about who I tell my secrets to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who I'm gonna fuck off camera. Like, yo, are they gonna rat on me? Like, if I get into a brawl at a bar, is my homie gonna punch the next dude like in his face? Like, you know, like that's what ESPN said, and I can take that, but it's unscripted, right? This is real life egotistical drama amongst men, and now that they're incorporating a lot of women to ESPN, I don't want to sound like a chauvinist. That starts to change things, and that's why you got the Joy Taylor topic that me and Cash had to speak about. You know, but I'm saying in sports in general. You know what I mean? When you start to bring
Obama, though, this is Michelle Obama, who has her own podcast, which doesn't have nothing to do with sports, but because of the questions being asked, she's responding to it, and now being brought into sports. It's being brought into a sports world, which again, I to your point, Q. You know what?
Because imagine clicking onto ESPN the last couple of years, and you click on any random day, you see that 6 months ago Shannon Sharp accused of rape and all this crazy. Okay, like what? I'm gonna turn it off. Yo, LeBron James and Stephen A are fighting on. Okay, I don't want to watch it. 6 months. Oh, now Shannon Sharp is getting fired. Okay, let me rewind 8 months ago. Okay, now Ryan Clark is arguing with what's his name? Robert Griffin, you know what I mean? Like, because he made some words about his wife, like, and that happened on ESPN. It's like, yo, like, I could understand what she meant about the drama, but you got to understand, like, you guys were both right. This is an entertainment platform. You got to speak about those type of things, and these are guys who have egos about the sport that they play for. Like, you don't go on real, like, I don't watch Real Housewives, but I guarantee you they don't be having debates about who's not invited over to their house because the last time they was there, you know what I mean? Their food sucked. You know what I mean? Like, they don't be having arguments like that, nigga. Like, you know, when men have these arguments, they're like, yo, that team was trash. Like, yo, it's a competitive nature. Like, you know what I mean? And with competitive nature comes drama.
The only thing that I would say where she, and I'm not saying she crossed the line or anything like that. The only thing I'm going to say that maybe
I don't think so.
Maybe
I think she had a good statement.
Maybe she should have selected her stance on it a little bit, was the fact that she said that no one likes one another, right? That's hearsay. I'm not going to say that she's wrong, because there is probably, you know, an era of where certain people maybe don't like, you know, one another. But again, it's not 100% known that Stephen A doesn't like Molly, or Molly doesn't like fucking Swagoo, or Swagoo doesn't like fucking Adam Schefter. It's it's hearsay. Like, they're working well on camera if there is a problem between any of them. So for her to say that, I don't know that that's 100% true. But even that is not something where I felt that Stephen A needed to go as overboard with it as he did. I think he's one of those guys that was kind of soft, or suspect in the hood back in the days. He got a chance to, I'm saying,
I don't think
you know what I'm
Stephen A was
saying? He
suspect.
got a chance to get, a platform, and get, he was, kind of a goofy nigga, didn't really have much, no bitch, no shit like that. He went away, played a little bit of basketball, got his journalism degree, started getting his motherfucking weight up, got a chance to move around a little bit. And now we're seeing the fruition of a guy that came through all of that, and now he's a big fucking deal, and he's had every right to walk around like that. But it comes a time when it just starts to become overkill, where he's just pushing his agenda, and he's just trying to be like again, this is something that realistically should have just been laughed off. It should have never went where you clap back at the fucking first lady of the United States. The greatest first lady, too. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Okay.
Where you clap back at the greatest first lady. She wasn't shitting on you. She was just making a little bit of, a little bit of noise on her podcast, tongue in cheek. It could be whatever, you want it to be. But this was not a moment for Stephen A to feel obligated to not only clap back at her, but to dig at Obama as well. It was really soft. It's corny, and he's losing me more and more by the day.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna continue to use the word soft, because guess what? When Kevin Durant decided to go to fucking Golden State, he used words like soft. So yes, I will call this soft, and I will not run away from. Yeah, this was a soft response from Stephen A. Smith. Where I will disagree is I'm not gonna attack his personality or who he was in Queens, or how he grew up and who he was, and this, that, and third, and now he's got a chance to be the big bully. Like, Stephen A. Smith for we know, and we're from Queens. There's no paperwork.
I never heard of the nigga. Like, until the nigga was on TV, I never heard of this nigga. This nigga wasn't slinging no fucking work in the communities, nigga. I wasn't running around. Niggas wasn't in the neighborhood like, yo, that nigga Stephen A. got shit on lock in Jamaica. I never heard of this nigga.
All I'm saying, and because of that, and because I can get we go left or right with it, but because of that, because I've never heard any paperwork of him be anything other than what he said he's been, then I'm gonna go ahead and take him on his word. Because guess what? If he was anything other than what he said he's been, I came from Queens.
But he's never said he was no street nigga. He never said he was no hardcore nigga either.
Time out. But guess what? If he was soft, and we're using words like, oh, he's soft, he's this, that, and third. If it was anything where we could hold him to it, right? Somebody's gonna be out there like, yeah, we used to thug this nigga. We used to do X, Y, and Z. We haven't heard any of these reports. I don't know
because he wasn't around any body of record.
Just listen again. I agree with your take 1,000%. All I'm saying is, for the sake of the take, right, and just for the sake of this take, right, I'm not gonna say Stephen A. Smith. I agree. What he did was soft. I'm not gonna call him soft because I have no proof of it. Yeah, and Queens will put that information out there if he ever was soft. Like, somebody will come out and say, "Yo, yeah, we used to take that nigga's lunch money."
When I say let me
just let me.
I think we're going too deep.
No. Because
I think we're going too deep into it. Like, we're taking his lunch money and all that shit. We don't give a fuck where his lunch money was at. All I'm saying to you is this. I'm not saying like I know that the guy got smacked in front of the Coliseum. You know what I'm saying, for his Tommy Hilfiger. That's not what I'm saying.
Ain't nobody gonna remember that.
I'm just saying, like, his personality screams as a nigga that wasn't like he wasn't like. Go ahead.
What we do know about Stephen A. Smith and what he has done for quote unquote the culture. Again, I'll say, yo, he's not the mouth of the culture. You can't speak on behalf of all of us, but you are Stephen A. Smith. You do have a responsibility to have integrity and think twice before you open your fucking mouth when you're saying certain shit. Now, mind you, I can't, what he did, his last, this shit, it's soft. I agree with Jay. Like, that's soft. The fact that you can't, I'm going to stand to the fact that I think she's the greatest first lady, but because he's mad, you still want to attack Obama, and not for nothing. God forbid Obama decides to say, now I have something to say. Because Stephen A. Smith, I don't give a fuck how big your
ain't gonna win that
platform
one,
is.
Cam.
I don't give a fuck what you can say about sports or indifferent. If Barack decides to fucking tear you down and do his homework, and we know Barack Hussein Obama is going to do his homework, which means he's going to say, well, let's talk about this, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about your sports history. Let's talk about who you really are. If Barack goes that route, he's going to out-talk you. Not from a loud perspective, because Stephen A. is quite loudly, but just from, I know how to talk to our country. You know how to talk to a crowd. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm like, I agree with you there. You know, I agree with P, but, you know, ultimately, yeah, you know, I'm not going to, again, I just feel like to Preem's point, and to your point as well, Q, because you said it as well, you know, this is one of those things where I look at Stephen A. Smith, and as much as I sometimes love him and sometimes hate him, this is one of those moments where you actually had the option to just not say nothing. You could have laughed it off.
You'd have made more noise that way.
Let me
made more noise that way. It would have, not only would have made more noise that way, you would have stood up for whatever your community is, and your community is the black and brown. You have aligned yourself with, you know, you trying to talk against Barack, and because Barack XYZ, he tried to force you.
And this is why, this
has nothing to do with misogyny. This had nothing to do with misogyny. This has
no way.
This had Michelle Obama, and again, I'll say it again. We're only talking about this because Michelle Obama, I'm gonna say she was baited because she's smart as well, right? She was asked a question where she made a comparison between shows, and she compared ESPN's sports shows, not even First Take. She didn't even say First Take. She just said, when I watch ESPN, ESPN, it's no different than me watching Housewives because it's a group of people that are yelling at each other. They don't like each other. She didn't say that Stephen A. Smith doesn't like his co-pundits or whatever. She goes, this is what the appearance is. And this is what she said. And then they said, oh, so is Stephen A. Smith a housewife? And she goes, he'd absolutely be in that comparison, a housewife, a great housewife in the comparison, right? And guess what the media does? Now we have to talk about this right now. We're not talking about Shador Sanders being a father on a fucking on a QB, definitely in the Broncos, which is what we should be talking about. We're talking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but I don't get it. That's what I'm saying.
But you know, I think it goes a little bit deeper, and you know, we'll end it on this note before we get into the next topic, because you know what I mean, like, I personally think that Stephen A. Smith didn't really have a choice.
Of course, he had a choice.
No, I think he was given a directive. I think he was given
they told him he had to respond.
I think people forget that ESPN is owned by Disney.
So what? Disney doesn't want to be involved in this smear campaign. Disney
but you know what ESPN loves. But you know what ESPN loves. What? They love making the articles. Headlines? They love headlines. They love people arguing with each other.
Let me ask you a question.
Because we do know that they are a failing business. And when the crazy shit about them failing and firing everybody in these past couple of years, they just acquired the rights from NFL Network and Red Zone because they're gonna need that.
I'm gonna ask you one question.
But like how he became the face, right, of ESPN and First Take. He had to fight out a couple of people, and we know.
He was gifted. He didn't have to fight out nobody. He was gifted. I don't think he had to fight out nobody. I think everybody else didn't fit the mold on which which ESPN was going.
I think we have to table the rest of this because I think we can hit. I think this can be discussed on many different levels. To be honest, on how about this. To be honest,
I have one question for you though. Right? You say you think it was a directive. Disney, right?
Yo, you think he doesn't have a boss?
No, I'm not saying that. I'll say this, and we can table it. If it comes back to you know our sports talk shit, and maybe it doesn't, but maybe we could have this conversation on the back end, right? Disney, which is trying to blackify everything. When I say blackify everything, right? Why would they put Stephen A. Smith in a position to have to talk against his cohorts, right? Mind you.
Oh,
Disney.
because is
No,
Michelle Obama not black?
No.
Like, yo, they have him arguing with Whitlock all the time. They're both black. Come on, man. Like, he be going against Ryan Clark and having disputed arguments.
If you let me finish my point, when I say, why would Disney, if they're trying to say, hey, we're trying to get more stock so people view us, right? Disney has ruined a bunch of franchises by trying to blackify it. Now, mind you, I've enjoyed a lot of it, but Little Mermaid, she was a white young lady first. We've got to make her black to get our audience. Captain America, we got to make him black to keep our audience.
Oh, but that's true to the comics.
No, mind you, forget the comics. This is Disney saying this is we're trying to unify or whatever we're trying to do. So in my head, I'm just like, if that's their bosses, and I'm looking at it like saying, yo, they're trying to walk him down the aisle to make sure that they keep this that way. And I'm just like, yo, why would they be looking to split his audience? They would be looking to say, hey, let's stay out of that. That's just my opinion, right? And mind you, I don't think there was a need for a black Little Mermaid. Even though I enjoyed the Black Little Mermaid, and so did my daughters. I don't think there was a need for a black fucking Captain America. Although Disney turned the actual Marvel comics into a black Captain America. And again, I enjoyed it. I know there may be people with different views on that, but yo,
but that happened in the 80s.
Boom. If we're saying Disney is trying to draw the narrative, and they're saying, hey,
I'm not saying it. I think Disney.
You got to respond to that.
All right. So before we go to next, all right. So I think we're getting off topic, but like,
I don't mean to get off topic. I don't mean to get off topic.
No, but
I just felt.
But I'll tell you right now, I really think Disney doesn't give a shit. But you know who I do think gives a shit about ESPN is his ESPN producer and director. Like, yo, he has to report to people. Like, he can't sit there all day and just be like, yo, I want to talk about this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna respond to this. Yeah, he has choices of it, but you know who else has who has the ultimate decision is the network, because he is not the network. Oh, if we really wanna videoalize this and turn it into an actual response, they're gonna allow it. Why not?
He does.
Like why wouldn't they? Right? Because they know people are gonna talk about it like us. We know he's gonna succumb to it because he don't care, and he you know what I mean. He does whatever all those people tell him to do in that network, right?
He does have his own platform, though, right? Outside,
he has
just
a
like
podcast.
No, come on. Outside, just like Shannon Sharp.
He has a lot more than a
platform,
podcast.
right? Yeah, he has his own shit. Like, fuck it, if Disney fires me today, and Stephen A. Smith has his own. He's created his own lane. Yes.
Yeah, but I guarantee. Yeah, but I guarantee you, it's not mandatory views. Like, you know, this is a mandatory paycheck. Like, you're not gonna sign a contract to yourself. Joe and Jada didn't say, "Hey, let's create a podcast, and we're gonna sign ourselves to this podcast for $10 million each." No, we gotta build it. You know what I mean? Like, and he has to build it. You know what I mean? And that's why when you listen to his podcast, he don't talk about shit like this.
That's bullshit. Because on his podcast, he's got more visceral. On his own, he's got more venom than he does on the actual platform. He talks less. This is not a topic where he talked about it on. He talks about it lightly, maybe on First Date, but he talks about it in depth on his own platform. Which again, to Jay's point, is that Jekyll and Hyde kind of said, like, you know, what did Malice say? Malice said, I took the money I took the money. I came back and took the money. It's the devil in me. I had to hide it from the church. It's the Jekyll in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, Stephen A. Smith knows how to eat and not eat at the same time. And again, I think your point is great. I don't think that my point is maybe the most solid, but I agree with what Jay's saying. I agree with what you're saying. I just feel like, again, Stephen A. Smith is still Stephen A. Smith. Like, I'm not going to sit here. Like I said, I'm not going to call him soft. I don't know him from
and this is why I'm saying,
I will call him on his accolades. His accolades is this is a pure surprise. You know, he's ahead of a lot of people. He's put the work in to be who he is right now. He has. This is what Stephen A. Whether he's black or brown or different, and especially because he comes from our skin color, I can't knock him for who he is right now with how far he's gotten. But
I
what
don't
I
know.
am saying is he picks and chooses, and in certain moments where he could keep his fucking mouth shut. And this is one of those moments where, like, yo, shut the fuck up, Stephen A. And I'll say that right now, and I hope this gets on. Like, you should have shut the fuck up in this moment, because guess what? This is why the Stephen A. Jacksons call you an Uncle Tom. This is where you get your Uncle Tom and your. This is where you get mad. You get even louder, and the more louder you get, doesn't make you smarter. This is just one of those moments where the intelligence in you, none of us would have fucking responded to Michelle Obama, and we watched it. We've all watched it. We all had the same agreement where it's like she ain't even really attacked that man. She just somebody asked her a question. She responded to the question. She didn't say Stephen A. Smith is this. That name came out her mouth. Somebody asked her a question about Stephen A. Smith, and she responded, "Yeah, I agree. He could be, if on that level, a great housewife." But she never said, "Yo, he's a housewife." But he had the need to respond, and in his response, it was a bunch of just rhetoric about a bunch of shit. That's why we call you Uncle Tom, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Now you talking about Obama. Obama ain't been in office for fucking 8 years at this point. In 8 years. Why are we talking about Obama? We talking about Kamala, who just didn't get hired. She ain't been in office in fucking 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Or the last 4 years, I'm sorry. She ain't been in office in the last 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Are you mad that the person that you probably voted for, but I want to say you voted for him, and again, I don't want to get outside of what we talk about, but yo, he feels like there's egg thrown in his face. That's his ego. This is all Stephen A. Smith ego shit where, not for nothing, my respect lies with Stephen A. Smith, where it's like, I respect what you've done, and I respect your path, and I respect what your voice can do, and guess what? Show me. Sometimes it's dope. Just shut the fuck up, and he didn't shut the fuck up. He responded, and guess what? Now we having this conversation. Point blank. Period.
Yeah. All right, so we gotta move on to the next topic, but everybody, you want to say something, Jay?
No, I'm gonna say I thought it was gonna take a shot, take us out.
I'll take a shot.
Oh, we're not talking about Terry.
Oh shit!
I think we spent a little extra time on Stephen A. But pause.
I agree.
What you want to do? What you want to talk? Let's talk about. Let's talk about Terry.
I think we gotta talk about Terry McLaurin, and let's talk about it.
What's going on with Terry McLaurin? Let's do it.
Let's go. All right. So basically, y'all know what it is, right? We're gonna switch to this topic real quick, and then basically, you know what it is.
Oh, you going ass. I like that. I like that better as going ass.
Yeah. Terry McLaurin and Micah Parsons had both asked for trade requests. So, and Jay, I'm gonna have to go to you first, because this is kind of like detrimental, and I know it doesn't affect your AFC East, affects the Giants tremendously. Right,
unless we're able to,
which would be good, which would be great for us. But let us know, like, why haven't they signed their leading wide receiver for multiple years, especially with this, with the star Jaden Daniels that came off a astronomical year, bringing them almost to the Holy Land. You know what I mean, like. And then you got the Cowboys, who's just been struggling with one of their best pieces. That it's just like, and Jerry Jones is now saying that he's gonna try to trade him for. He said we could get the job done, and then the Cowboys are saying, "Hey, there's rumors that they're gonna trade him for 4 draft picks, and see what they, I personally have my idea what the Cowboys are gonna be. I know the Commanders are gonna be a great team for the years to come. But what do you think, Jay? Like, what's gonna happen, like, to the AFC East if Terry actually leaves and they can't get this deal done? Do you think that's gonna hurt Jaden Daniel to the point where he can't find any other receiver? Do you think the Cowboys are gonna be like, do they still have the Giants' number? You know what I mean? Like, because that's how I feel. Yo, let me know your thoughts.
I think if you don't, first of all, Washington doesn't. They have to sign Terry McLaurin. They don't have a choice. Like, if they don't figure out a way to sign him, that is going to be one of the dumbest moves that you've probably seen in a long time. Like, you got an 1,100 yard receiver from last year. What do you do? 1097. Let's call it 1100, right?
Hmm.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, he's a safety blanket. He's sure-handed. He can absolutely take the cover off the defense. He absolutely was one of the reasons why Jaden Daniels looked the way he looked, because he had, at any given moment, he knew that Terry was going to be the answer. Now, if you take away his number one target, because that was his number one target, his best weapon, will Jay McDaniels look good? Absolutely. He's still going to be special, but I don't think that team has the same success. It doesn't make sense, right? If you want to use his age, whatever. What's he going to be, 30 this year? You want to use his age, then fuck it, use his age. But if you absolutely want to go ahead and say that he's not worth the money, that doesn't make any sense in the world, because he deserves every single fucking penny. You guys did, not you guys, but they went and they paid. He deserved a contract somewhere along the lines of, I'd say, like a DK Metcalf type of a moment. What happened?
No, he's
that's not
putting
you.
up like stupid ass comments, man. Don't even pay attention to Charlamagne. He just being
I mean, I'll fuck with you. You're asking like, keep going, because you cooking. You're cooking. You're fucking cooking. That mean when you stop. That was Q, because Q's like, let's go. I'm like, go ahead.
And then as far as the Micah Parsons piece, I think this is just the way Jerry does business, which is the worst way to do business. The problem is Micah Parsons said, I'm not going to do business this way. If you guys don't want me, that's fine. I'll get the fuck on. And even deeper than that, guess what? If he fucks around, if they absolutely have no choice. Now remember, he submitted his trade request to Stephen Jones, not Jerry, which was a slap in the face to Jerry in itself.
Is Stephen Jones in front of is he not in front of the finances? Stephen Jones is running the money, right? He's got the purse, right?
Jerry Jones runs everything.
But Stephen Jones got the purse, though, right? Yes or no?
Jerry Jones got the purse.
Well, Jerry Jones has it. What are you doing?
No, got you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a slap in the face to begin with. But even deeper than that, no one has ever filed for a trade. No one's ever requested a trade request like that during the negotiations. Everyone has had their moments with Jerry Jones where they're going back and forth, and he's pushing the envelope, and he ends up overpaying at the end of the day. I don't think, Jerry said some wild shit the other day too about Micah Parsons saying, "Hey, listen, the guy's hurt a lot." That's just that's just like fucking Nino Brown saying, "Hey, what you want, man? She don't suck no dick." Right? You know what I'm saying? It's a wild fucking statement. You know what I'm saying? Hey, she can't have no fucking kids. It's a really bizarre statement for Jerry Jones to come out and make that type of a statement. Then Jerry Jones wants to say, well, I reached. In other words, he made him an offer, but he made the guy an offer over dinner, and his fucking representation wasn't available. So that's not really a fucking offer. That's that's some shrewd, underhanded bullshit. Now he's trying to throw it up. The long and the short I'm trying to bring out to you is Micah Parsons realistically would probably be better off somewhere else. And I'm not saying that just because I hate the Cowboys, but I'm saying that because I hate the fucking Cowboys, right? So I would love to see, and Micah said some wild shit. He was like, yo, me and Abdul would look real good together. I don't know if y'all caught that when he said that.
Well, he also said that about Chicago too. He also said him, he would love to be in championship back to Soldier Field.
Me and Abdul Carter would look really good together.
Yo, listen, I got a question, because again,
it's serious as cancer. Who can book average dancer hyper than a heart attack? Nobody's smiling.
I think you said a bunch of dope shit. Let's start with the Washington take. The Washington take is, yes, they have to fucking sign. They have to sign a wide receiver, right? So is this really a story or not, right? In general, Washington has to be relevant in its fucking NFC East in general, especially based off of teams that look like they may or may not do something. In this particular take, we never even really got a chance to go into what the Giants are going to be or what they look like, what have you. But Washington can't afford to take no losses in the division, to say the least. Correct? Would you agree there? So to your point, your Washington take. That's why I was laughing, and this is what I said. I just said, on God, Q, I can't wait for my take, because he led with you. Yeah, so that was what you call it. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. What you said with Washington was 1,000%. When I say 1,000%, you couldn't be more right with that. Washington doesn't have the opportunity to act cute move indifferent or nothing. They have to put their best receiver back on that quarterback, young quarterback or not. I don't give a fuck if the league is saying we've got that we got him pegged or what have you. They have to sign him with the money. As far as the Cowboys go, I would have to agree with Jay again. Them losing Michael
today. I
Parson,
love it.
yeah. Hold on one second.
Today.
I got a pizza arriving. Hold on one second.
What?
I again, Jay, I agree with you 3 for 3. And my question to you is, how can the Cowboys fuck this up? Because I do want to hear that take too.
All right.
One second. I'll be right back. Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Real
Drunk Sports Talk. Yo, it's not even real sports talk no more. It's drunk sports talk. Yo, I'm not even gonna give the take no more.
Yo, peace, y'all. Enjoy.
Yo, you want to end it like that? Yeah, word. So, yo, he stepped out early. Yo, go eat some dinner. You know what I mean? Yo, we love y'all. Check in, tune in. You know what I mean? Yo, fuck the Cowboys, fuck the Commanders. I don't care if they sign Mclaurin or Parsons anyway, as long as they're not in the NFC East. You know what I mean? Like, that's all we care about. And we'll take it from there, y'all. Peace.
Out. Peace.
Peace.
I ordered a pizza during the show, bro.
Nah, I ordered a pizza hours ago. To be honest with you, like it just got here at the end of that. What you call it? I got.